This video is for those of you who are in full tilt awakening mode right now and facing things in your lives that you thought you might never have to face. We all thought, or at least I did years ago, decades ago, that it would be fun and it would be light and expansive. And people talk about New Earth, but that's just what it's like after we make it through the part that so many of you are going through now. It's the part that I went through years ago when I thought my life, when when my life as I knew it burned to the ground, when I had no money, when I lost everything in the real estate crash, when I had debt, when I was in an accident. This is why I teach this stuff, because I went through it early. And if you're in it now, this is what's happening. You have probably heard all the stuff about how you manifest your life and that everything in your world is just really the outpicturing of what you assume, what you believe, who you think you are. Sounds pretty easy, right? But here's the part nobody tells you, and it's the part that I focus on with my work with clients. Yes, we can be, do, or have anything. And you have a nervous system that's wired for who you thought you were. That nervous system is based around an identity that you took on when you were little. How do they do money here? How do they do love? Oh, people argue over money. Oh, there's not enough money. What is love? Oh, love is about arguing. It's about bickering all the time. It's about somebody's got the power and somebody isn't powerful. All these things are wired into some identity that you took on, that you decided to explore when you were first born. But who are you really? You're dissolved. You're pure consciousness. Consciousness means you're this vast field of awareness, and who you really are is choosing what to be aware of. Sounds pretty good. So why does this stuff feel so scary? If you are facing things that just seem so far out of your control, like some of my clients are, potentially losing a house, a marriage ending, it could be anything. It could be a big health scare. This is the greater part of you asking you to say, hey, what do you believe? Do you believe you're powerless? And more importantly, what do you want? What do you want instead of this? These are areas of focus that you chose before you were ever born. Some chose to focus on the body. Some chose to focus on limitation, on abundance. You chose to know yourself in some limited way because who you really are is all that is. And you can be aware of anything. But it's scary because your nervous system thinks that if it doesn't hang on, if it doesn't do what it can do to protect you, if it doesn't produce all these fear thoughts and terror thoughts, if it lets go, it believes it's going to die. It believes you're going to die. And that's why this stuff can feel so scary. We're pure energy, vibrating in and out of form billions of times per second. But what makes us continuous? What makes it seem that we're consistent, that we're solid, that this is a solid, real thing? It's not because it is, it's just vibrating energy. But the apparatus in our minds, the receptors that translate energy into form, say, oh, well, based on what I know, which is the past, it's probably this. Based on some common assumptions that I've made, this is what it is. And that's what our whole life is run on. So when you get that sacred call to realize that some pattern or an identity that you have is no longer working, your ego coping strategies, that's time for them to go, it feels like death. My own experience is that when I went through this, I would have dreams of being in front of a firing squad. Literally being in front of a firing squad. And every time before the gun went off, I would wake up. And finally, the gun went off. I knew there was nowhere to go. Nowhere. I couldn't run. I couldn't hide. The gun went off. This was a dream. And in my dream, I thought, I'm still here. What's up with this? Out of the barrel of the gun, and it was a pistol, was a flag that said bang. And all of the situations in our lives are no different. So if you're facing something now that's pretty scary, it is the real you is asking your nervous system, your body and your mind to let go. And this is what surrender is. Surrender isn't giving up. It's stopping this death grip of control. It's saying, okay, I can't fight this, so I'm going to relax. I'm going to believe, at least for now, that this problem that I have also comes with a solution, because it does. And as we can drop the fear, drop the stories that we're telling ourselves about whatever situation you're in. I'm not going to be able to support myself. I'm not loved. The yeah buts, all the fear. When we suspend those stories and feel what's arising, because yes, it feels like you're going to die. It just does. We have to feel that in the body. This is terror that you have likely suppressed for many, many lifetimes. I've said before, many say that we are feeling the emotions since the fall of Atlantis. And I really believe that, because Atlantis was when we gave up our power to the priests, to the firestones. We decided that everything we did, everything that we did in the latter days of Atlantis didn't work, because the comet still came. That was just before the flood. But understand that for 20 years before the big flood came, there were comets that were entering the Earth's atmosphere. How do I know this? I happen to be one of those people who remembers other lives. You may be just holding that deep, deep fear right now. Your soul, the greater part of you, may be inviting you to feel what you couldn't feel before, and that would be terror. For so many of you, it's trusting in the unknown, trusting what you can't see. So there's a reason that you're feeling this. There's also a reason that it's time for you to feel this, because this is the Great Awakening. Some say 5 more years of this stuff before it levels off. I don't know. All I know, and what I want you to know, is that you are the creator of your life, your pure awareness. And what you think, feel, and assume on the inside is what shows up on the outside. I want you to be versed in universal laws, that everything that's happening is just a projection, and it does not need to impact you. And if you are going through your own big survival moment, it's really a sacred invitation. Nobody can save you from this. Nobody's meant to save you but you. So many of us learn to abandon ourselves. I did. Lots of my clients do too. What does that mean? Oh, here's my big fear. Here's a fear. Or some negative emotion. We abandon ourselves by avoiding. We eat, we drink, we're emotional eaters. I used to be an emotional eater when I was a kid. We analyze, right? We go into our head about it. Oh, I'll just ponder this. But at the end of the day, none of that works because we are vibrational beings that cannot die. We have never not existed, and we are dissolving these old patterns of energy that exist as frequencies. They're distorted patterns like fear, like all the ego stuff, survival-based stuff. I'm not safe. I'm not enough. Life's not safe. If you've been through this and you're listening, you know what I mean. But a lot of you have never been through this. You may think you're not afraid, but as I always say, I don't know until something else happens. But I want you to know what it is. When I couldn't walk, when I had no money coming, I made a decision. Actually, I was thinking of this the other day. I decided then, whatever it is that I'm here to do before I took on this body, okay, you win. And this is why I do this work. I didn't know then that this would be happening on the planet. I had an inkling that it would be pretty dicey. I knew about that in the 80s, but I didn't know it would be like this. Like, it was so hard to imagine. There's so much changing in the world that is bringing all of our fear up, all of our ego survival coping patterns. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not safe. Life isn't safe. I can't trust myself. I can't trust life. I'm powerless is the big one right now. So if this is happening to you, it's not happening to you. The situations in your lives are being orchestrated so that you will finally feel what you have not been able to feel, what generations before you couldn't feel because they didn't have the time and they didn't know how. They were trying to just survive. But you're the pattern breaker. You're the one who says it stops with me. And you're likely the one who says, I know what this is, and I am bigger than this fear. And you may know that when you're not being triggered. And what I want you to know is when you're in it, I want you to breathe. I'm safe. Are you in the present moment? Usually when we're worried, well, always when we're worried or when we're afraid, we're not even present. We're projecting some outcome that hasn't happened. When we're fully present in the moment, we are hyper-focused. It's a different part of the brain that gets activated. We're hyper-focused, and we know exactly what to do. But when we're not in the moment, we're telling ourselves stories that haven't even happened yet. I can assure you from my own experience that things can change on a dime. And they do change when you get back in the moment, when you say, this is my friend fear, this is my friend doubt, this is my friend anxiety. Feel it, let it come in, just feel it without a story, and then focus on, and what else is possible? How good can this get? Focus on what you know. Every problem comes with a solution. This is duality. We get to decide which we focus on. Bring yourself back to the present. And if you have to do it 60 times a minute, do that. This is not an easy time to be alive on the planet. And it's the time that you chose to be here. When you chose to experience dying alive, that's what I call it. People have near-death experiences and have the realization that they're eternal, that this is all made up. But you're here to have the experience while being fully alive. And that's why we have to take our bodies and our nervous systems with us that are screaming because they think it is death. That's why this is so hard. And that's why I made this little video today, because this is what dying alive feels like. It's feeling all the feelings and saying, I know that there's a power that's greater than me, and it is me. And I'm going to just surrender to it. Because most of us don't do that until we have no other choice. That's why I do this work, because I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to wait until circumstances are so bad, because that's the only way the greater part of you can even get your attention. All right, so hand on heart, come back to your present, take those 3 deep breaths. 2 more times, takes you out of fight, flight, and freeze, puts you into rest, regenerate, and digest, and create. And from that place, ask, what else is possible? How good can this get? And receive. The life that you want is trying to make its way to you. We don't have to make it happen. We receive it. And that's why, if you're going through a tough time right now, you've built a fortress around your heart that says something like, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I have to work hard, I'm not good with money. Some decision that you've made about yourself that's just not true. All we ever have to do is receive. And that's what this situation that you're in is trying to do with you, to get you to open up, feel the fear, drop the wall that you've built around yourself and around receiving, and trust that the part of you that is the real you has a plan and a path. Thank you for listening. I'm Wanda Vitale, and I'm a certified life coach and creator of the Reality Architects and the Empowered Empaths. And I know this is hard. I went through it, but I will tell you, on the other side is so much windfall beyond logic. I'll talk more about that. Windfall beyond logic. When you trust life fully, the best stuff just shows up. Would love to hear what's going on.